What if the most rigorous science we have could not explain what these people experienced? What if it tried and found something worse than an answer? By the mid-2010s, NDEs had moved from the fringes of parapsychology to the pages of The Lancet, Resuscitation, and the annals of the New York Academy of Sciences. Cardiologists, neurologists, and cognitive scientists had begun treating them as a legitimate medical phenomenon, not because they were believers, but because the accounts were too consistent to ignore. The most ambitious scientific response was the AWARE project, Awareness During Resuscitation, led by Dr. Sam Parnia, first at Southampton University, then at New York University's Langone Medical Center. The design was elegant. Researchers placed hidden visual targets, images, on shelves near the ceilings of resuscitation rooms, only visible from above. The logic: if patients claiming out-of-body experiences were genuinely perceiving from the ceiling, they should be able to identify the targets. Over 4 years, the team tracked more than 2,000 cardiac arrest patients. One patient accurately described what was happening in the resuscitation room during a verified period of cardiac arrest. One case, out of 2,000, Parnia described it as remarkable, not proof, but not nothing. Then, in 2013, a team at the University of Michigan led by neuroscientist Dr. Jimo Borjigian published a study that stopped the scientific community cold. They had been monitoring the brain activity of rats during cardiac arrest, expecting, as everyone expected, to see activity drop off as the brain died. Instead, in the 30 seconds following cardiac arrest, they recorded a surge of gamma wave activity. Gamma waves are associated with the highest states of conscious processing. Peak attention, intense dreaming, deep meditative states. In the dying brain, they surged, more organized than during normal waking consciousness. In 2023, the team replicated a version of this finding in human patients, detecting comparable gamma surges in 2 of 4 cardiac arrest cases studied. Borjigian was careful. She did not claim this proved an afterlife. She did not claim it explained NDEs. She said, "The brain may be capable of generating intense experiences at or near the moment of death." She left the rest of the question open. The skeptics, and there are serious, well-credentialed ones, have real arguments, not dismissals. Arguments. Cerebral anoxia, the brain starved of oxygen, is known to produce vivid, structured hallucinations. The tunnel of light likely corresponds to the specific pattern of peripheral vision failing before central vision. Ketamine, a dissociative anesthetic, produces experiences that are nearly indistinguishable from NDEs. Out-of-body experiences, encounters with light, life reviews, profound peace, all of it. REM intrusion, the dream state bleeding into waking consciousness, has been found at significantly higher rates in NDE survivors, suggesting a pre-existing neurological difference. And memory reconstruction is powerful. Trauma survivors regularly rebuild fragmented sensory impressions into coherent narratives, assigning them, retrospectively, to periods they were actually unconscious for. It's possible. It's plausible. For many of the cases in the literature, it's the most likely explanation. But for the 3 cases we examined in this series, it has not fully accounted for the verified details. And that gap matters. Here is what we know. Hundreds of millions of people worldwide report NDEs. The experiences are cross-culturally consistent. They occur in people with no prior knowledge of them, including very young children. 3 of the most rigorously documented cases involve verified, accurate perceptions that occurred during confirmed periods of unconsciousness, confirmed by the doctors and nurses who were present. Neuroscience has found unexpected activity in the dying brain. It has not yet explained how or whether this activity generates coherent, accurate outward perception. The people who experience NDEs come back changed, less afraid of death, more compassionate, more certain, whatever the mechanism, that something meaningful occurred. Van Lommel's longitudinal study followed NDE survivors for 20 years. The changes were not temporary. They were not explained by trauma alone. They were durable, consistent, and unlike any other near-death outcome in the medical literature. We set out to investigate 3 cases. We found medical confirmation, peer-reviewed science, and gamma waves where there should have been silence. We did not find a clean answer, and here is where I leave you. The most eminent researchers in this field, the cardiologists, the neurologists, the cognitive scientists who have spent decades on this question, do not agree on what these experiences mean. They agree only that the cases are real. The details are verified, and the current science is not sufficient to explain them. That is not mysticism. That is the scientific record. 3 people came back from clinical death and described things they could not have seen. The doctors confirmed it. Make of that what you will.